school instruction from a high school teacher with a master's degree teaching high school at supposed college level. We're fortunate we have a BC instructor who teaches the dual enrollment for his class. But not every school has that. So here's my deal. I don't think that a teacher teaching algebra or advanced calc or anything at the dual enrollment level in high school is probably going to do with the same rigor at the college level. Now, I could be wrong. I've heard students say that they weren't really prepared, and some others said they were. So it's going to impact what you can do at the college level by them not taking the course, number one, or maybe not having the content, number two, that you would have shared. So it's still too new. It's just a couple of years really at our school that we're really using this. The numbers aren't really there yet to say yes or no to it. In fact, we were thinking about disbanding it because we're really only one or two schools in the district that does do enrollment. I'm at Centennial High School, by the way. Any other questions? I think there was one more.
Oh, I was just going to say about the accommodations. One thing I've noticed is that the students that we're seeing, or that I'm seeing, when a student has physical challenges or has specific challenges, I see that students have been taught to be kind, to be thoughtful. So there are some benefits to
Yes.
that sense that, when someone has a struggle, instead of making fun of that person or pointing, a finger at that person, there's that sense that, it's our responsibility as a community to help that person.
In Generation Z, that's a strength.
Yeah.
A serious, huge strength. They love their parents. They care about their fellow mankind. They're socially aware and involved. And they'll go the extra mile for anybody. That is something to play with and grow in your classes. It is really a solid strength. When you get them engaged, and if they're using their tech for the engagement even, my gosh, watch them go. They're good that way. And they'll come to the defense of anyone who's being bullied today. They'll come to the defense of anyone who has special needs. They have that spirit of advocacy and empathy that previous generations don't necessarily have. So that's a real good strength. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. Appreciate it. So let me ask you now to consider the last part for about 5 minutes. This is the how. Here are 6 elements that I think effective 21st century higher education. 6 of them. Understand the moral and ethical boundaries of relationships between colleagues, students, and parents. Let me just ask you frankly, if a student comes on to you, how do you handle it? How do you know you're too close? Second question. And thirdly, how do you shut it down without offending a very highly emotive generation? I can suggest that book, but I won't sell shameless promotion on that. But it's really important to consider that, especially you younger teachers. Now, older folks get hit on too, but younger teachers, you have to be careful. After all, there's some mid-range students coming through as well, guys, okay? But we have a lot of situations today where our teachers are going to prison for making the wrong choices with students. And college professors, there's a little different mindset here, and here's the question, comment, / statement I want to make about this. An 18-year-old student in high school that graduates, who's still 18 as a freshman, is still 18 years old, but they're looked at differently under the law. What a teacher in high school does with that 18-year-old may not be, college professor may do something differently with that and not be held standard. Something you have to think about. Secondly, another element is to avoid the pitfalls of blurring the lines by those relationships, by being too much a friend and not just friendly. There's a difference between being their friend and being friendly. And I think professors need to see that line and hold that line. And I don't know if you should, in your mind, think it's okay to be communicating with students after hours on weekends and texting and getting together for coffee on a regular basis. That may be getting too close for some of you. Maybe some of you no. So I don't think there's a fast rule there. But for me as a high school teacher, I can tell you, if I'm getting together on weekends with students and having coffee in my house, I'm getting too close. They're not able to see the difference between the adult relationship, friendship, and the friendliness that's going on. Understand the differences in culture. Brown University put this out. I'll just let you take a look at it for a second. I'm not going to read it to you. So do we understand our kids' culture, where they're coming from? Do we respect it? Fourthly, provide challenging but doable academic content and deliver it effectively and clearly to the learner. There's a nice goal, isn't it? Effective higher education. Fifthly, it comes from the book that I provided for you, so I won't read that to you, but provide a curiosity-based opportunity for student inquiry whenever possible. And take a look at Generation Z's learning styles. And don't be afraid to use their very tech that they love against them in your favor. So craft a lot of your lessons using the tech that they can't get their hands off of, and they'll love you for it. So why fight it? Put your phone away, stop interrupting me. Why not adopt and adapt? You're going to fight if you don't. And I'd much rather have them on my side. And I'll tell you, my strategy for my students is this. Here's my tech etiquette rule in my class. It's clearly stated. If they violate it, it comes off their class participation points. If all of you stay focused with me and we accomplish the tasks that we have to accomplish, you have earned a tech privilege at the end of my class. For the few minutes we have left, I will close it down. You can check in. Feel free. So now they hold each other accountable. If somebody's on their phone, they mess, man, stop. That's not me, it's them. So I'm using them and their empathy and their emotion against each other through the use of their technology and my policy. So something to consider for your classes, since a lot of them still act like high school kids. They may buy into that. And number 6, continue to learn the roles of modern tech in the lives of students. This one here I think is important. You may want to consider a flipped classroom, combine that along with being the sage on the stage. And that flipped classroom is, you have 2 assignments. Now, they may not read, but you can still ask them to do it as part of the requirement. Rather than you lecture on it, they come to class having it here, and they're working with it as you facilitate it. And if they don't have it prepared, then their classmates hold them accountable for not being prepared. So small group things, where you're communicating to the group about the preparation they need for tomorrow's class, works really well. Because peers hold each other accountable much better than the teacher does or professor does to that level. So we use that against them in your favor. They're strong that way. They're empathetic. Come on, man, you let us down. They really care. So mixing it up a bit, it's really important that you understand that these 3 things are still in the mix. We haven't left those behind as professors, and the students haven't left behind. Either have administrators. So maybe mix it up. Maybe mix it up. So they're great starting points. Remember your values. Those are the 2 of those that are really important. Collaborate. Work together to encourage. Collegial input, dialogue, cooperation. Gaining a strength of respect, trust, and dignity. If you focused on those 2 on this campus and did your expert work that you do so well, imagine what your students will be saying about you. I never let schooling interfere with my education. Yeah. The Proverbs for today. And we're done. Questions, comments? Okay. I thank you for your patience with me. And again, thank you for the opportunity. It's really been a pleasure. I'm going to be on campus for several more hours. I'd love to be here. I'm taking a day off and they're paying me to stay here. So, so you're going to be tortured, or I don't know what it's going to be called, but I'd love to talk to you privately, personally. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, feel free. I'm very approachable that way. I don't get offended too easily. I only cry on Fridays. Thank you guys, appreciate it.